Hi, I'm Jamie Perkunis, and I wanted to show you some lower body opening things you can do. So we're going to start first with two that you can do that don't involve being on the ground. So if your knees are tender or being in this position, even just looking at it makes you hurt, let me show you a few things you can do. You can do this sitting, you can do this standing. All you need is a block. I prefer a recycled foam block. Manduka has a really nice recycled foam block. You can also use cork or wood. Some of the blocks are really lightweight and tend to be kind of mushy, and those aren't the best to use with this particular technique. So what you want to do is take the block, and I'm going to fold back my blanket, so I just have a blanket on here for a little extra coziness. And you're going to place the block against the wall on the lowest setting. And then you're going to take the bottom of your foot and place it into the corner of the block. So what it looks like is you're going to be here, and the corner of the block is going to press into the bottom of the foot. You're going to find a tender spot and then crunch your toes. And then maybe find another tender spot and then crunch your toes again. So there's all sorts of tender spots. The foot has 4 different layers of muscles. And a lot of those muscles in the bottom of the foot in the arch area. Some of them actually start up in the calf and there are just more tendons through here. There are some muscle bellies in the foot. So you might be feeling some tenderness, some tightness. And then once you've done that for a bit, okay, is you're going to take the ball of your foot, so your toes are going to start to point up towards the ceiling. As you bring your heel to the ground and then slide your ball of your foot down towards the ground as far as feels comfortable. If it feels like your toe is really uncomfortable in the front, then consider backing away and just coming to the point that you can hold it and be comfortable here. If you can slide your toe all the way down to the ground, then go ahead and do so. And if you want a little bit more, then start to bend your knee. What you might start to feel is a stretch, maybe through here, but also through the arch of the foot. So as long as you haven't had a big toe fusion or anything major in the big toe, like broke it or have a huge bunion, this exercise will likely be uncomfortable, but does get better as you practice it. The big toe is really important for walking and balance, really important for pushing off if you're walking or running. So it's an important joint to keep open. All right, now before you go to the other side, just kind of stay on your feet and just notice if you feel a difference from side to side. And you might already feel like your right foot or the foot that you worked on first feels a little bit more planted on the ground. So now we'll go to the other side. And again, you can take the corner of the block into the bottom of the foot and just press. Once you find a tender spot, go ahead and scrunch your toes. You can also change angles, change the corner. Again, if this feels pretty easy, you can always grab a cork block, which will be a little bit harder. You could also grab a wood block, which is even harder. A common error that people do is they just keep their foot on the edge, which that works. That's pretty good too. But what I want is for you to really be able to get to almost like someone was sticking their thumb in the bottom of your foot. So you're giving yourself a little bit of a aggressive foot massage here. So continue to breathe. Keep your shoulders and neck and jaw open. And then again, you're going to take the ball of your foot to the edge of the block, bring your heel to the ground, and then slide your toes down. Maybe even try to get the ball of the foot all the way down if it's comfortable, if it doesn't cause you to have a lot of pain or discomfort. And then if you want a little bit more, then bend your knee and breathe. You can even step your free leg back behind you. And keep breathing. My hope would be is that you feel the stretch on the bottom of your foot, which may or may not be the case. You might feel it more on the top of the foot, on the top of the big toe. You can also come in and out of this if you'd like. All right, and then go ahead and come on out. So that's one way that I like to give. Another way that I've taught in other videos and such is to just use your feet. So what you'll do is you'll take your feet and you'll make an X out of them. So you take the bones of the top of my right foot are going to smash into the bottom of my left foot, and then you'll sit back. So it's like you're making an X. I even here like to move the top foot around a little bit, or move it to another spot. You can even rock side to side a little bit. If it's hard for you to get your heels to your hips to your heels, you can take a block and put a block there between. Some people will also feel it more on the top of their foot, and that's okay too. So do whatever works for you and your body. And then go ahead and switch to the other side. So again, you're going to take the bone. There's a bone on the top of the foot. It's called the navicular bone. And it's a bone that sticks out. And it will smash into the calf, or the calf. It will smash into the bottom, the arch of your bottom foot. Most people feel something when they're doing this. So you can stay right here, or you could return back to what we just did. So if you're like, my knees do not like this at all, you can go back to doing the block work. So an alternative to the one we did at the block is called toe breaker pose. So you curl your toes under, and then you sit back. So this is a bit more aggressive than the block. So I usually like to do that one first. And what you really want to think about is pulling your heels towards each other. So try to keep your heels touching. If it's hard for your heels to touch, you can take a strap and wrap it around your ankles and then pull your ankles towards each other. And again, if it's hard for you to sit back, you can always take a block here. This will likely hurt on the bottom of the foot. And what you also want to be thinking about here is pushing yourself, almost like you're trying to push yourself out of the pose as you're sitting back, so that the bottom of the feet are engaging as you're stretching them. And then you can also counter stretch by just pointing your toes back and again sitting onto your heels, trying to keep your heels touching. And breathe here. And here, kick your feet down into the ground. This is stretching out the top of the foot. And try to keep breathing, try to keep your shoulders relaxed. So the tendency will be to clench in your shoulders or clench your jaw. Try to keep your shoulders relaxed. Alright, then moving on, we're going to work with the calf muscle. So there's a couple of ways to do this. One is you can use the block again, which I find to be quite helpful with this one. And we will use the edge of the block. So your block's going to be in a medium setting. You're going to take the edge of the block to the calf, and you want the block to be on edge, and then you're going to rock side to side. And then it'll just move. So the block moves in a different area of the calf. So we have two calf muscles. We have the gastroc that crosses the knee joint, and we have the soleus, which only crosses the ankle joint. So the gastroc crosses the knee and the ankle, and the soleus just crosses the ankle joint. Yeah, there's usually some knots in this area. Alright, so now let's try it on the other side. So again, you're going to take the block, take it on its edge, and rock side to side. If you want a little bit more intensity, you can add the top leg on top if you want. Yeah, there's some tender spots. My calves tend to be very, very tight. Yeah, so the block's just on regular. You'll feel it, it's a little bit gentler. So if you find this is too intense, then you can always just keep the block flat. You don't have to put it on edge. Go to make sure you keep breathing. Try to keep your shoulders relaxed. So that's one way for the calves opening. So one of the things that I find with my clients, and myself included, is that when I work on the muscles, like getting a little bit of massage before I stretch. So this is one technique with the block. Another technique that tends to be a little bit more intense is you're going to cross your shin on top of your calf. So you want to make sure that you're making an X like we did with our feet, except for with the shin on top of the calf, and then you're going to sit back. And you'll feel your shin bone smash into your calf muscle. So you can rock side to side, you can move your bottom leg, you can move to another spot. This is supposed to be uncomfortable. But again, if the knees aren't happy doing this, then go back to using the block like I just showed you. And then you can switch to the other side. So you can do this up to a minute on each side. We're doing a little bit quicker in the video because I want to be able to show you all the options. And since we're doing one and then the other, and then we'll do one more for the calf, we'll get plenty of time in. So you can rock side to side. Again, you can move your leg a little bit and keep breathing. So the last one I'm going to show you is really, this one's a doozy for me at least, is you're going to do, it's similar, kind of combining both of them together. So you're going to take your knee and you're going to place it in a nice tender spot in your calf, and you'll move your top leg around. You can thank one of my clients for showing me this one. It tends to be pretty tender when I do this, but I feel like I can really find a spot, much like with the block, there's like, whoa, that's a big spot. All right, so you walk side to side with your leg. It doesn't take a lot of pressure to feel something, I'll tell you that. And then we'll go to the other side. So try to keep breathing. And just start to notice what comes up when we cause ourselves discomfort. So for me, it's usually I want us to go away as soon as possible. So can I still stay calm and breathe? And I know I have control over this, so at any point I can just stop and say, thank you, that's been great. Same thing for you, you have control at any point. Okay. And then go ahead and just release. There is one more that I really like to do too. This one gets to the hamstrings and the calf. And I like to use a yoga mat. So I have a thinner yoga mat here that I use. And I like to come into it from a standing position. So you come to a standing position and take the roller behind your knees, and then you'll come into a squat. So you can just stay here and rock side to side, or you can lower your legs down and come into that toe breaker position again. Or to have even more intensity, you'll sit back. And again, you can rock side to side. And then you move it back just like a millimeter. And rock side to side. And breathe. And then again, so you can also use a bigger roller, again, if the knees are uncomfortable. A lot of times our knees get uncomfortable because our quadriceps are tight, the top of our thighs are tight. And so as those get more open, then the knees will be less stressed and strained. So you can feel free to maybe roll up two yoga mats, or maybe a thicker yoga mat. All right, and then you'll release. And then we'll take this mat, since we already got it rolled up, and come up to standing. And you're going to take the balls of your feet, we're back towards the wall now, so the balls of the feet come on onto the roller, and your heels press down into the ground, and then you're going to bring your body forward towards the wall. So using your hands on the wall, and you're going to shift your hips forward. The tendency is going to be to keep your hips back, but shift your hips forward. Keep your heels on the ground. If you're not quite feeling a stretch with this, you can increase the roll size. I get a nice strong stretch, usually right through this area right here. Then you're going to step 1 foot forward and then bend your knee towards the wall. Keep your back leg straight and strong. Breathe. Again, we're going for a stretch in the back of the leg. Sometimes when our calf is really tight, we'll feel it crunching in the front of the ankle. So if that's happening, back away to where you can feel a stretch and there's not discomfort in the front of the ankle. Keep breathing. And then go back to both legs straight again on the roller. See what happens. See if you notice a difference. And then step your other foot forward. So for me, it's stepping my left foot forward. Back leg is straight and strong. Heel presses down to the ground. Knee bends towards the wall. Only as far as comfortable. Again, like we did with the toe stretch, is you can kind of come in and out of the position. Keep breathing. And just observe and notice if you're feeling the stretch in the back of your calf, or is it going into the ankle? If it is, can you back away? Can you check in? And then come back to both legs. On the blanket roll, shift your hips forward. Try to keep your knees straight if you can. Notice the tendency to want to shift the hips back. So you shift your hips forward, that puts more of a stretch on your calf. And then go ahead and step on off. And just observe with your eyes closed, if your balance is okay, and notice how your feet feel. So this is a practice you can do every day, before exercise or after exercise. The calves are a really important muscle in the body, so is the big toe. So I hope you found these exercises to be helpful. If you have any questions for me directly, please see the contact information at the end of this video, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye.